In the quaint town of Birchwood, there stood a dilapidated mansion that whispered secrets of its past. Birchwood Manor had once been a vibrant home filled with laughter, but after a series of tragic events, it had become a hollow shell, abandoned and overrun by time. Locals spoke in hushed tones about the spectral figures seen wandering its grounds and the chilling cries that pierced the night. The last family to live there, the Hawthorns, had experienced a cascade of misfortune. The father lost his job, the mother fell ill, and the two children vanished one stormy night, leaving behind only a single worn teddy bear. The house quickly fell into disrepair, and the townsfolk believed the family's sorrow had seeped into the very walls of the manor. One autumn evening, a group of 4 college friends, Emma, Ryan, Mia, and Lucas, decided to explore the manor, drawn by the stories that clung to it like ivy. Armed with flashlights and an insatiable curiosity, they approached the grand entrance, which loomed like a dark mouth waiting to swallow them whole. Inside, the air was thick with dust and neglect. Sunlight filtered through the cracked windows, casting ghostly patterns on the floor. The walls were lined with faded portraits of the Hawthorne family, their eyes seeming to follow the group as they moved. A shiver raced down Emma's spine, but she brushed it off as nerves. "Let's check out the basement first," Ryan suggested, a hint of excitement in his voice. The others hesitated, but curiosity overrode their trepidation. They descended the creaking staircase, each step echoing in the silence. The basement was a cavernous space, filled with old furniture draped in white sheets, resembling ghostly figures frozen in time. Suddenly, Mia froze, her flashlight illuminating a large, old trunk in the corner. "What's this?" she whispered, moving closer. The others gathered around as she lifted the heavy lid. Inside, they found an array of dusty toys, clothes, and a small leather-bound journal. Emma gently picked up the journal, its pages brittle and yellowed. She opened it, revealing the neat handwriting of a child. "Dear Diary," she read aloud, her voice trembling. "Today, I played with Tommy and Lucy in the garden. We found a secret place under the big oak tree. I can't wait to show Mama." The entries continued, filled with innocent stories of play and mischief, until the last few pages, which were frantically scribbled. "Something is wrong. Mama says we have to stay inside. The shadows are watching us. I'm scared. Please help us." The room grew colder, and a sense of dread filled the air. "Maybe we should go," Lucas said, glancing around nervously. But before they could leave, a low moan echoed through the basement, sending chills racing down their spines. The sound was followed by the unmistakable patter of small feet, darting across the room. "What was that?" Emma gasped, clutching the journal to her chest. They turned their flashlights toward the sound, but the basement remained still. Just as they were about to turn back, they heard a whisper, soft yet clear. "Help us." Mia's face paled. "Did you hear that?" Ryan nodded, fear etched across his features. "We need to get out of here. Now." As they raced up the stairs, the temperature dropped even further, their breaths visible in the cold air. The whispers grew louder, echoing around them, mixing with the sound of small, hurried footsteps. They burst into the main hallway, but the front door slammed shut with a resounding bang. "Let us out!" Emma screamed, pounding on the door, but it wouldn't budge. The shadows in the corners of the room began to shift, coalescing into indistinct shapes that flickered in and out of view. "Over here!" Mia shouted, pointing toward a door at the end of the hallway. They sprinted toward it, the whispers now sounding like desperate cries. As they reached for the doorknob, a chilling laughter echoed behind them, a high-pitched giggle that sent terror coursing through their veins. Lucas glanced back and his flashlight illuminated a pale figure, a little girl with wide, hollow eyes, her hair disheveled and her dress tattered. She reached out a tiny hand, as if beckoning them to follow. "Stay away!" Ryan yelled, pulling Emma closer as they turned back to the door. With a collective push, they flung it open and stumbled into a dusty parlor. The room was cluttered with old furniture and covered in sheets. As they caught their breath, the laughter transformed into sobs, filling the space with sorrow. Emma's heart raced, She felt an overwhelming urge to comfort the unseen child. "We need to help them," she said, her voice steadying despite the fear clenching her stomach. "The journal, it said they were scared. We can't leave them." "Are you crazy?" Ryan shot back, his eyes darting around. "They're not safe." But Emma was resolute. "If we don't try, who will? They need us." Mia nodded, her eyes filled with compassion. "We can't leave them trapped here." With that, they formed a circle, holding hands and focusing on the energy in the room. "If you're here, we want to help you," Emma called out, her voice clear and strong. "We're not afraid of you." The cries grew louder, and the shadows began to swirl around them, coalescing into the form of the two children from the journal. The girl stepped forward, her expression pleading. "Help us find Mama," she whispered, her voice echoing with sadness. "What happened to her?" Emma asked, feeling a surge of determination. "She got lost in the shadows," the girl replied, tears welling in her eyes. "We can't leave without her." Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the air thickened with an oppressive force. "Find her, before it's too late," the children urged, their voices blending with the shadows around them. The friends exchanged a look of understanding. They needed to find the mother, but where could she be? "Let's check the attic," Mia suggested, her heart racing. "That's where secrets are kept." They raced back through the house, the whispers now guiding them, urging them onward. As they climbed the narrow staircase to the attic, the temperature dropped further, and the air grew thick with sorrow. The attic door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit space filled with forgotten memories, old toys, clothes, and a large trunk in the corner. Dust floated in the air, and the shadows danced at the edges of their vision. Emma stepped forward and opened the trunk, revealing a collection of family photographs and letters. Among them lay an old, faded photograph of the Hawthorne family, including the mother, her eyes filled with grief. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through the attic, sending papers flying. In the chaos, Emma spotted a small locket nestled in the trunk. She picked it up and opened it to reveal a picture of the two children inside. "This is it," she exclaimed. "This belongs to their mother." As she held the locket up, the air crackled with energy. The cries of the children crescendoed into a haunting melody, and the shadows began to shift and swirl violently. "Find her," the children's voices echoed, filled with urgency. Just then, a figure emerged from the darkness, a woman, ethereal and sorrowful, with eyes that mirrored the children's. "My babies," she whispered, reaching out. "Follow us," Emma shouted, leading the way. "We're here to help you find peace." The woman's form shimmered as she moved closer to the children, who rushed into her arms. The moment their hands touched, a blinding light enveloped the attic, and the shadows receded, revealing a warmth that filled the space. "Thank you," the mother whispered, tears of joy streaming down her face as she embraced her children. The air filled with a sweet, soft light, and in that moment, the weight of sorrow lifted from the room. As the light dimmed, the three figures began to fade, their laughter echoing in the air, finally free from the chains that had bound them to Birchwood Manor. The friends stood in silence, tears in their eyes as they felt a profound sense of peace settle around them. The whispers faded into the distance, leaving only the soft rustle of leaves outside. Emma, Ryan, Mia, and Lucas left the manor, stepping into the cool night air. The darkness had lifted, and the stars shone brightly above. They had faced their fears and helped lost souls find their way home. But as they walked away, Emma glanced back one last time, and in the window of the attic, she thought she saw a small figure wave goodbye, a flicker of light dancing in the darkness, a reminder that some stories, once woven into the fabric of a place, never truly fade away. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story. As the friends stepped into the cool night air, they felt an unexpected warmth radiating from Birchwood Manor. The weight of the shadows had lifted, but something lingered in the atmosphere, a subtle tension that gnawed at Emma's mind. "Did you guys feel that?" she asked, glancing back at the old mansion, now seemingly peaceful. The windows, once dark and menacing, glowed softly as if a light had been ignited within. What the relief? Yeah, but it feels too quiet now, Ryan replied, his brow furrowed. Like we stirred something that's still out there. Mia nodded. We helped the kids and their mom. But what about the other spirits? The ones we didn't see? Lucas shivered, a chill creeping up his spine. Do you think there are more? We barely scratched the surface. Emma felt a pang of unease at his words. The whispers had been insistent, desperate even. Perhaps there were more souls trapped in the manor's depths, waiting for their chance at freedom. The thought was haunting. Maybe we should go back, Emma suggested, her voice barely above a whisper. Are you serious? Ryan exclaimed, stopping dead in his tracks. We just freed 3 souls. We should be celebrating, not tempting fate. But Emma was already feeling drawn back to the house, a compulsion she couldn't shake. What if they're still in pain? What if they can't move on? We owe it to them to try. Reluctantly, the group followed her gaze back to the manor. It loomed in the moonlight, its silhouette both ominous and inviting. They exchanged wary glances but ultimately nodded, curiosity and empathy winning over their fear. They stepped back through the creaking door, which now opened easily, as if welcoming them home. The air inside felt charged with energy, and they could sense something, an echo of the past still lingering in the corners. Where do we start? Lucas asked, breaking the silence. I think we should head to the attic again, Emma suggested, her heart racing. That's where we found the locket. Maybe there are more clues there. As they ascended the staircase, the whispers returned, faint and almost melodic, guiding them onward. The attic door creaked open, revealing the space now illuminated by a soft glow, as if the remnants of the children's laughter still filled the air. Emma felt a pull toward the trunk they had opened before. As she approached it, she noticed a small, shimmering object half buried in the old toys. Leaning closer, she realized it was another locket, identical to the one she had found earlier but adorned with intricate engravings. Look at this, she said, holding it up. The others crowded around, eyes wide with curiosity. Maybe it belonged to the mother, Mia suggested. It could be a key to understanding what happened to her. As Emma opened the locket, the glow intensified, and an image materialized within. This time, it was a drawing made by a child. It depicted a tall oak tree with a small figure standing beneath it, a heart drawn around the image. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted, and a rush of wind blew through the attic, scattering papers and sending the toys tumbling. The whispers grew louder, almost frantic, swirling around them like a tempest. Find the tree! A voice cried out, urgent and echoing. What tree? Ryan shouted, trying to make sense of the chaos. Outside! Lucas exclaimed, recalling the stories about the old oak tree in the backyard where the children used to play. That must be it. With no time to waste, they dashed downstairs, the whispers now guiding them through the house, leading them toward the back door. They burst outside, the moonlight illuminating the overgrown garden. The ancient oak stood tall, its branches reaching toward the sky like gnarled fingers. The ground beneath it was soft and disturbed, as if something had been buried there long ago. Emma felt a sense of urgency wash over her. We have to dig, she declared, kneeling beside the tree. Whatever is here, it's connected to the children. They quickly grabbed loose branches and began to scrape at the earth. As they dug deeper, their hearts raced with anticipation and dread. The whispers grew louder, echoing their efforts, as if urging them on. Finally, their fingers brushed against something hard, a small wooden box, weathered and worn. They pulled it out, their breaths hitching with excitement. What do you think is inside? Mia asked, her eyes wide. Emma gently pried open the box. Inside, they found a collection of old letters tied with a faded ribbon, along with a small, dusty photo of the Hawthorne family gathered beneath the very tree they were standing by. As Emma unfolded the letters, she began to read aloud. My dearest children, I fear I cannot protect you any longer. The shadows are growing stronger, and I must find a way to keep you safe. Her voice trembled as she continued, revealing the mother's desperate pleas for help and her search for a way to shield her children from the darkness that threatened to consume them. But then the tone shifted, growing frantic. I cannot let them take you. I will hide you beneath the oak. Promise me you will stay together. Tears filled Emma's eyes as the weight of the mother's love and fear washed over her. Suddenly, the ground began to tremble, and the air crackled with energy. The whispers transformed into a chaotic cacophony, urging them to understand the truth. Find us, echoed in unison, a haunting plea that sent chills down their spines. Realizing they had to complete the mother's promise, Emma glanced at her friends. We need to call out to them. We need to finish what she started. Together, Ryan said, his voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. They formed a circle beneath the oak, holding hands tightly. We're here to help you, Emma shouted, her voice filled with resolve. You are not alone anymore. As they chanted together, the shadows around them began to swirl, forming into faint, translucent figures. Children laughing, their forms flickering in and out of existence. Help us, the voices echoed once more, a mix of fear and hope. The ground beneath them glowed, and the whispers reached a fever pitch. Emma squeezed her friend's hands tighter, feeling the energy pulsing around them. We will help you find peace, she cried, her voice rising above the chaos. In that moment, the shadows coalesced into the figures of Emily and Jake, their eyes bright with longing and gratitude. Thank you, they chorused, their voices harmonizing with the wind. But as the children began to fade, Emma felt a new presence behind them, a darker shadow lurking just at the edge of the light, watching. She turned, heart racing, as the figure loomed closer, its intentions unclear. Who are you? Emma shouted, feeling a surge of fear. The air grew heavy, and the whispers turned dark. You cannot take them, a voice hissed, chilling her to the bone. Panic set in as the shadows writhed, threatening to pull the children back into the darkness. Emma and her friends stood their ground, determined to protect the souls they had come to care for. Stay with us, she urged, her heart pounding in her chest. We won't let you go. The struggle continued as the shadows clashed with their light, and the friends realized that they were not only fighting for the children's freedom, but also against the malevolent force that had kept them trapped. Desperation surged through Emma as she sensed the strength of their unity. Together, we can do this, she shouted, locking eyes with each of her friends. With one final push, they focused their energy, and a blinding light erupted from the oak tree, casting away the darkness and revealing the truth of Birchwood Manor, a place not only of sorrow but of hope, where love could transcend even the deepest shadows. But as the light enveloped them, Emma could still feel the presence lurking just beyond the reach of their glow, waiting for the moment to strike again. As the light surged from the oak tree, illuminating the yard in a warm glow, Emma and her friends felt a mixture of hope and dread. The shadows writhed around them, and they could see the figures of the two children, Emily and Jake, starting to shimmer and fade, their expressions turning from fear to relief. Don't let them take us, Emily cried, her voice trembling. The darkness lurked at the edges of the light, coiling like smoke, desperate to reclaim what it had lost. Focus. We're not letting you go, Emma shouted, her voice steady despite the chaos. She felt the energy pulsing through her, and she knew they had to maintain their connection. We're here for you. Suddenly, the malevolent shadow surged forward, taking form, a twisted figure with hollow eyes and a gaping mouth that seemed to absorb all light. You think you can save them? It hissed, the sound a cacophony of whispers and laughter that sent chills down their spines. They belong to me. No, Ryan shouted, stepping forward, his heart racing. They belong to their family. You can't have them. The dark figure recoiled slightly, but it quickly regrouped, growing larger and more menacing. Their family is lost. They are mine. Emma felt her resolve waver for a moment, but she looked at the children, their faces filled with desperation and longing. We can't let them go back to that, she declared, her voice rising above the tumult. They deserve to be free. As the darkness lunged again, the friends tightened their grip, their unity a shield against the encroaching terror. The light from the oak tree pulsed stronger, fueled by their determination. Think of the love that brought them here, Mia urged, her voice steady. Think of the joy they deserve. With each heartbeat, they drew strength from their bond. Memories of laughter, joy, and friendship flooded Emma's mind, overpowering the shadow's whispers. She began to visualize the warm embrace of the mother, the children's laughter echoing in the garden, the feeling of safety and belonging. Together, we are stronger than you, Emma shouted defiantly at the shadow. You cannot win. As if responding to her call, the light around them surged, illuminating the garden in a radiant glow. The twisted figure recoiled, its form flickering as the light pushed back against the encroaching darkness. Stay with us, Lucas shouted, eyes wide with determination. We'll help you find peace. In that moment, the children's faces lit up with hope. Emily and Jake reached out toward the light, their tiny hands stretching toward Emma and her friends. Please, don't let us go back, they pleaded, their voices a haunting echo of their shared fears. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath them, and the oak tree shuddered as if responding to their collective will. The whispers of the past faded into a beautiful melody, resonating with love and remembrance. The air thickened, and the shadows screeched, their form writhing as they struggled against the light. Now, Emma cried, urging her friends to focus all their energy. They closed their eyes, envisioning a protective barrier of light enveloping the children, pushing back against the dark entity that loomed over them. As they concentrated, a brilliant flash erupted from the oak tree, flooding the garden with a blinding brilliance. The shadows shrieked, their form dissipating under the intensity of the light, struggling to maintain their hold. Let them go, Emma shouted, feeling the power of their connection surge through her. The children's laughter harmonized with the light, creating a resonance that shook the ground. But just as victory seemed within reach, the dark figure lashed out one last time, an angry whirlwind of shadows that threatened to snuff out the light. You cannot defeat me. I will reclaim them. The intensity of the confrontation sent Emma and her friends tumbling backward. But as they hit the ground, Emma realized they couldn't give up now. She looked at the children, their faces pale but filled with hope. We won't let you go back to that darkness, she shouted, rallying her friends. We believe in you, Mia added, standing up and extending her hands toward the children. With renewed determination, they raised their voices together, calling out words of love, unity, and strength. You are loved. You are free. You belong with your family. The words resonated through the air, intertwining with the warmth of their light. The shadows shrieked, their form beginning to unravel as the children stepped closer, eyes wide with courage. The dark figure began to fade, the last remnants of its malevolence collapsing under the weight of the collective love surrounding them. No, this cannot be, it howled, disintegrating into wisps of darkness. Suddenly, the air shifted, and the garden filled with a brilliant light, washing away the last traces of the shadows. Emma blinked against the brightness, her heart pounding in her chest. When the light finally dimmed, she found herself standing in the garden, breathless and disoriented. The children were no longer in sight, but the warmth of their presence lingered, filling the space with a profound sense of peace. What just happened? Ryan asked, looking around, bewildered. I think we did it, Emma said softly, her voice trembling with emotion. We freed them, but just as a wave of relief washed over them, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the oak tree, carrying a whisper that sent goosebumps up Emma's arms. Thank you. The voice was soft and ethereal, echoing in their minds, wrapping around them like a comforting embrace. Emma felt tears prick her eyes, overwhelmed by the magnitude of their experience. As they stood there, the moon casting a silver glow over the garden, they realized that although they had conquered the darkness, a lingering question remained. What happens now? Mia murmured, her gaze fixed on the oak tree, where a faint shimmer danced in the air. Emma felt a tug at her heart, a connection to the spirits they had encountered. I think they're finally at peace. But maybe their story isn't over yet. Just then, a faint shimmer at the base of the oak tree caught her eye. The glow intensified, and a new energy filled the air, stirring the leaves and creating a gentle rustling sound. "Look," Lucas pointed, and they all turned to see what appeared to be a faint outline forming beneath the tree, a ghostly silhouette that flickered like candlelight. "Is that—" Ryan started, but his voice trailed off in disbelief. The outline solidified, revealing the figure of the mother, her expression serene and filled with gratitude. "You've set my children free," she whispered, her voice echoing in the stillness. "But my journey is not yet complete." The friends exchanged bewildered glances, their hearts racing. What did she mean? Emma stepped forward, her voice steady. "We're here to help you too. What do you need?" The mother's gaze was filled with a deep sadness. "I've been searching for them for so long, but I'm still trapped in the shadows of my own despair. I need to find closure for both of us." A chill ran down Emma's spine as she realized that the darkness they had faced wasn't just a force to be battled but a reflection of the pain that lingered in the hearts of those left behind. "How can we help you find closure?" she asked, her voice filled with determination. The mother's figure shimmered as she glanced toward the oak tree, where the children had once played. "You must uncover the truth of our past. Only then can I truly be free." Emma felt a surge of resolve. They had come so far, and now they had the chance to complete the cycle, to help the mother find peace alongside her children. "We'll do it," she said, glancing at her friends, who nodded in agreement. "We won't let you down." The mother's silhouette glowed brighter, a warm light radiating from her being. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice filled with hope. "Together, we can heal the wounds of the past." As the friends stood united beneath the ancient oak, they knew their journey was far from over. The echoes of Birchwood Manor still whispered, urging them onward. The friends gathered around the oak tree, their hearts united in purpose. With the mother's ethereal presence guiding them, they began to piece together the Hawthorne family's history. They combed through the letters they had found, learning of the struggles the family faced and the sorrow that had enveloped them. Days turned into weeks as they researched old records and spoke to townsfolk who had once known the Hawthornes. Each new detail added to the tapestry of pain and love, revealing the depth of the family's bond and the mother's fierce protection. Finally, they discovered the truth behind the family's tragedy. A hidden betrayal had led to the father's downfall, creating the rift that drew the shadows into their lives. Emma, Ryan, Mia, and Lucas organized a small memorial at the oak tree, inviting the community to honor the family's memory. On the night of the memorial, they lit candles and shared stories of love and resilience. As the flickering flames illuminated the night, the air filled with warmth and peace. The mother's spirit appeared among them, her eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice like a gentle breeze. "You've brought us back together." As the final candle burned, a soft light enveloped the mother and her children. The shadows that had once plagued them dissipated, replaced by a radiant glow. One by one they embraced, finally free to ascend together. The friends watched as the light faded into the night sky, a profound sense of closure washing over them. Birchwood Manor stood quiet and still, but the air felt lighter, filled with hope. They had not only freed the lost souls of the Hawthorne family, but had woven their own lives into the fabric of the town's history, a testament to the power of love, connection, and healing. As they left the oak tree that night, Emma looked back one last time. The weight of the past had lifted, leaving behind a legacy of light. In the distance, the moon shone brighter than ever, a reminder that even in the darkest of places, hope could always be found. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story.